All right, Julie, we are back. I say that like we're professional YouTubers, but we're
Uh,
doing episode five. Is that what I said? Four. I already lost
4.
count. How bad is that? We just talked about it
It's
20 seconds ago, and I already screwed it up. Episode four. This is episode four of Roll for Mastery. Clearly, we are not professionals. We are chatting amongst ourselves, you and I, and we're making like a video vlog or something. We put it on YouTube for our video archiving so we can go back and reference it for ourselves. But some of our friends and family have proved interested in watching, and there is at least one or two in particular who have been rather enthusiastic about it, which I find amusing. But hey, if they're enjoying it. They're enjoying it. All the power to them. So, um, if anyone is watching who doesn't know us, Julie and I are DMs for Dungeons and Dragons. I am a DM for first edition. Julie does fifth edition, and they are very contrasts, full ends, opposite ends of the spectrum from each other to their games. And last night, oh, and we play at the same game store at the same time. So last night I canceled my
around the same
game
time.
for a few different reasons. And myself and one of my players elected to sit in on Julie's game last night, which is 5th edition Curse of Strahd. And while Julie and the players did a great job in their social role play, social interactions, I was like, oh my God, I can't do this. I plopped myself in the middle of an ongoing campaign a couple months in, which is very heavy in social role play, very story and plot thick, and I had no idea what the hell was going on. And then like session ends, and like okay, I'm out, and so like I couldn't get it. I know I was clueless, clueless.
You just decided to be a flirt instead. You said, "Well, I'm not gonna get the story. I might as well be
Yeah, I have
funny."
no idea what's going on. But
That's what Artie did too. Artie was being a silly goose.
I'm glad I did though for the benefit of the players because had I not, they would have known nothing about this
About
fortune
the
teller
fortune
person.
teller.
Yeah, they would have totally have missed
They
that.
could have. They could have gotten another hook.
Yeah, well, yeah, they could have, but
Actually, I had to change the hook because I misdid it. I kept saying the wrong town, first off, and then second off, I told him to go to Krezik, but my mod has actually changed it to Valaki. So I had to have the siblings argue about why not, and then yes, like back and forth with each other, which helped to strengthen that sibling relationship between them. And it was kind of, I guess, a cute interaction because she like ribbed her brother a couple times. But I had to be like, I had to backtrack on myself, but I did it narratively. I didn't tell them that I messed up.
well, right, and we've talked about that before. Like how do you self-correct so that it is
You need to write yourself a note about it
seamless,
because you'd forget.
So, but it was, and I always commend you on your social role play, your social interactions, as I did last night. Excuse me, as I did last night. It is a skill set that you hold much more strongly than I do. So, kudos to you for that. On that note, have you had a chance to look at that YouTube channel I sent you on voice acting?
It was like a class, wasn't it? Or
Well, no,
a
no, no.
set
It's
of
no, no. If you
classes?
no, if you go there, if you check out his channel, you can, I think, search for whatever, like Russian accent or French accent, and he gives you like a 5 to 10 minute video on how to speak English with that accent or speak that with an English accent.
I like to think that my Slavic is pretty okay. I just have to warm up to it because when I first started, I was French. I just have to warm up from English to a some kind of generic Slavic is what I like to call it, some kind of Eastern Slavic. Um, and then eventually I just get into that, and then I'm fine. I can kind of do it with Scottish. I can also kind of do it with. Artie was doing the on this the day of my daughter's wedding,
he
and that
he
one's
was,
super easy
yeah.
because I'm from around that generalized area, that Philadelphia, New York, gangster mobster. I smoked 20 packs of cigarettes a day. Come here, let me pinch your cheek. Like I had aunts who talked like that, so that one's easy. Um, I can sometimes do Australian ish. I have to really warm up for that one. I have to watch a lot of an Australian player, whether that be YouTube or like a podcast or something like that, for me to, or even a TV show, for me to like remember how to do it. But I can't really do, I can do deep, deep, deep south pretty okay too, because obviously we live here.
So
We
that
live in the
that YouTube
south.
channel has a segment or video for Australia or Australian accent.
Yay. And
So
maybe I should watch it. The other thing that I should do is while playing two different people, I should try to make their voices a little different because I confused my players at breakfast.
um it
But they
can't,
also,
yeah.
some of them I don't think were paying attention 100%
Well, so
because it was
yeah, so
almost like
it can. So
100% role
it's tough.
play.
Like when you have NPC interacting with NPC, yeah, it can be difficult to differentiate that unless you're really good at making a different voice, a higher pitch or something, right?
Yeah.
Or a completely different accent or different voice. Another thing you can do, and you did it okay in the sense that you said, okay, so and so is talking. This is what she says. Okay, now the other guy is talking. This is what he says. To make that clear distinction, because your voice wasn't making the distinction, but you made it that way. But another thing that I've seen
He
people
said,
do
she said,
is
so
they
many
will actually like
things.
physically switch a hat to try to signify who's talking,
A
or
prop
or some sort of visual. Yeah, yeah. So,
or a combo of all of those together.
but yeah. So last night was a challenge for me because yeah,
It's okay. We didn't really,
yeah.
we just dicked around.
No, because there's no, and I said this to Artie afterwards, or messaging whatever. It's like there's no way I can jump into a campaign mid-campaign for one session then just dip out. Can't do it. Can't do it. Either got to start from the beginning
Cathartic,
and play to a
fantasy.
point, or start and continue on, and not just a single session for something like that. Especially from a social or exploration. If it was combat, combat is combat, right? That doesn't matter. There's not
Oh
too much
yeah, you just
storyline
jump into
involved in
combat,
that.
you beat some guys up, and
Right,
you leave. Yeah.
right. So, and as you could tell, Artie and I were kind of leaning towards that because we didn't know what the hell was going on. Like, oh yeah, the kid downstairs screaming in the basement. Yeah, stabby, stabby. We can take care of this problem. But
And everybody else is like, no,
yeah,
stop.
yeah, no one else was on board with that. So, and we Artie and I were respectful of that because it's not our campaign, and we knew we were only going to be there for one session, so we didn't want to screw things up. To that point, though, right, of not screwing things up, my character had a scroll of it revivify. I said, "Oh my God, how
So
much would
you
I
did.
screw up Julie's game if I use this scroll to revivify this dead guy who needs to be buried?"
The dad, and then just leave, and then just leave the whole campaign.
Yeah.
So the only problem with reviving people in Strahd, and my players know, pretty much know this, it was a warning. I had a one sheet page of what to expect when you're expecting Barovia edition. And it talked about how magic was different. And the main one is talking about reviving. And I told them, like, you can revive, your character might die, but there's ample opportunity for reviving. I said, but things happen when you get revived. And a little bit of a spoiler, not really. You go mad, you get a crazy, you get 1 point of permanent madness, and I get to decide what the heck that is for you, and have you randomly roll for it. And it can be definitely interesting, to say the least. It was really fun watching my players deal with dream pies last night,
Well, see, and I was
and
trying
watching me
to.
regretfully want to not eat the dream
Well,
pies.
because I knew me, the player. I mean, I knew because you've told me what these pies are, and that's why I was like, yeah, okay, give me the pie, I'll eat it. But then afterwards, you said I had wonderful
So
dreams,
not metagame.
and the next morning I woke up. We woke up really sad, so I was trying to play really sad, but like no one was like letting that happen.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, other things were
Yeah.
happening. They got sidetracked. They feel sad on the inside. Whether they show that on the outside or not is up to them.
Okay. All right. I had another thought in there too. Um, I already forgot what it was. Hang on. We're talking about. Oh, I know for Artie, he
Metagaming.
said it was a bit of an eye. Oh, so let me ask you this. So one of your players, one of the characters, use some sort of spell to like magically embalm the dead guy, right?
Yeah,
I forget what the spell was called, but
I
how the
also forget.
hell, upon session zero, character creation, how the hell did this cleric know that that'd be a good spell to take?
He's a grave cleric, so I think he is kind of it's a little bit of a meta, because he's playing like a cleric who specializes in undead. But I let it happen. I don't really mind. Corey doesn't do that on purpose. He's not a meta gamer on purpose or a min maxer on purpose. I think he just wanted it to be themed, and I think he was going for like grave theme. Yeah, that sounds like Halloween. And so I think he accidentally overpowered himself. I don't think he did it on purpose.
Well, that's, I mean,
But
that's
he
what,
does have a lot of like in theme spells.
right, and that's like if you didn't
Um,
know what Curse of Strahd was really about on session zero, character creation, how would you know to take that kind of spell? But and that's one of the things that Artie and I would talk about. That's a big contrast between first edition and fifth edition. And because you've done character creation with me in first edition, the dice very much determine or heavily guide
oh, what
you
you do and what you
into
don't
what
do.
kind of class you're going to be. And spell
Yeah.
selection,
And
once you pick them, they're yours, and regardless of the module or whatever. So,
fifth edition, you can, depending on what like class you are, you can actually change your spells and move them around and stuff. I think clerics, if they pray hard enough, like if they tell the DM, I'm gonna pray for a couple hours and I'm gonna move my spell slots around, like they have to take it within a certain amount of time. It can't be just like, oh, 20 minutes, I have new spells. It has to be a actual definitive amount of time. Um, but in first edition, you don't get to do that. You just get stuck.
yeah, so, well, and first it depends upon the caster. So, in first edition, a magic user will have a spell book, and he can study from the spells in their spell book. Now,
Yeah.
what's interesting about that is what if your spell book only has first level spells and you're now a third level magic user who is capable of casting a second level spell, but there are none in your spell book. So there are none for you to study, which means you
Yeah.
have no second level spells for you to cast. So at that
Right.
point, you need to research to somehow get these spells into your spell book. But the magic user can choose daily from their spell book. A cleric,
Right.
on the other
And
hand,
I think that's the same with fifth edition. But for fifth edition, you actually have to buy. If you find a scroll and it has a spell in it, you have to buy magic ink to put it in your spell book.
yep, yep,
It
yep, yep.
costs a lot of money.
So the cleric, though, is a little different because their spells are embodied upon them by their deity. So they pray, and the deity
Mm-hmm.
says, "Here's your spells." So the way when I was a player, a magic user, for simplicity, we didn't do a spell book. Magic user chose his spells, and that's what you have. Period. And same thing with the cleric. But as the DM, I allow the cleric to choose their spells and druids, and once they have them, they're locked in. Now, if a cleric wants to change the spells, they essentially can make a request, if you will, to their deity, and then I will
Yeah.
like
To
consider that as
adjust.
the DM and consider changing that for them. Because theoretically, if the spells are embodied upon them by their deity, they could change daily. And
Right. And that's fine.
unbeknownst to the character, unbeknownst to the player, and say, okay, here's your spells for the day that your deity has given you.
Oh, surprise!
Yeah, yeah.
Surprise!
Now it's different with the
That'd be fun.
druid because it's not deity based. It's earth,
It's
wind,
magic,
fire
nature.
based. Yeah, nature based. So that's different. But yeah, so it's yeah, 1E5E difference. All right, so I
Crazy.
asked you earlier or the other day, I said, what do you want to talk about today? And you said A, B, C, D. That's all right. Let's talk
I said a bunch
about
of stuff.
organization. So you had questions or concerns about organization. And last night I noticed that you had all your tabs on your Curse of Strahd module.
Woo!
So, and lots of them. So kudos to you for working on some organization for Strahd.
Yay. I kept, oh my God, the first session out of Death House. Death House is maybe 5 or 6 pages. It's not a lot. front and back. The first time out, I had to flip back and forth so many times, and then I didn't remember what page it was, and then I had to sit there and read because I couldn't find it, and so I had to like finagle it because I didn't prep as much as I should have.
So
Oh, it was
tabs,
awful. And so I
like
was like,
like
never again.
so tabs will come in handy for that, right? 'Cause you get a quick reference. But also, when you have when you take the time or have the time to prep, you had, and that's why this I asked this the other day. I said, do you have a PDF of Curse of Strahd? So in your prep, if you know you have to be going back and forth, maybe you print out a couple pages of Strahd. So you can keep the book open over here where you need it, and then you have your printout over here next to it, so you don't have to be flipping back and forth.
I kind of already do that with my mods. My mods are also dependent on what chapter of the book I'm in. And they have their own little printout. So then 3 printouts, well, 2 printouts in a book, I would probably lose myself. Probably get lost.
Oh, I didn't pay attention to the time as to how long we were recording for.
Thought you said an hour.
Well, I know, but I don't know how long we have been recording. Yeah, we figured about an hour, but
Almost a half.
oh, hang on, 16 minutes. I see the timer now.
Oh, okay.
16 and a half minutes. Okay, at least I know where to look for it. All right, so organization. So for me, I use OneNote, Microsoft OneNote. Maybe I'll even pull it up and share it so you can see it. I shall do that. I think. Can I share it? Let me see. I can do share screen.
Share screen.
Yeah. I wasn't
It
sure if
might
I
pop
wasn't sure if
open
I
your
could do it
Discord.
on a voice call. I know I can do it when we're in a voice channel. Okay, hang on. Do.
It might pop you out of full screen.
Crap. I'll have to go back and blur some stuff. OneNote. Yeah, because it pulled me out of one screen. I got people's names and stuff on the left-hand side. That's not cool.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
Oh, tiny
So
screen.
let me make this full screen so everyone can see better. Okay.
Yeah, me too. Full screen.
Let me move this over here.
Oh, there you go. Now I see all of
Okay,
them.
okay. All right, so on the left-hand side, I have my different notebooks, right? And for
Right.
example, the third one, see on Discord though, fudge Discord, man, it keeps making a black screen. It just says your stream is still running. We paused this preview to save your resources. So in our recorded video, it just shows a black screen. It doesn't show Discord, but you can, not Discord, it doesn't show OneNote, but you can see OneNote. But on my side,
I see it.
yeah, but on my side, it doesn't show it on Discord. It's
Because I'm not the one recording. You're
right,
sharing it with me.
right.
That sucks. It would have to be backwards. You would have to send it to me, and I would have to share it with
Yeah,
you.
it's dumb. Anyway, the important thing is that you can see it. So okay, so on the left-hand side is my notebooks. So as an example, I have the notebook, The Greatest TTRPG 2, right, which is our Tuesday night game. So in there, I have our session notes from session 00, which is character creation. As you see there, right? There's the characters. There's the notes I have on all the characters. Session 0 was I chat with all the players, like house rules and style of gameplay and so on and so forth. And then after that, we get into session 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And in those sessions, I have my pre-session review with players, as you see. So these are things that I think of that we need to talk about once we get together on the video call, but before we actually start playing. And then on the right-hand side, I have session notes. So those are the notes. That's the stuff that happened during session 1. Okay, you with me so far? And then,
Yes.
so on and so forth, all the way down, all the different sessions, until we get into some later sessions and I have like nothing because I didn't take notes. I didn't. Because I find myself not getting overwhelmed, but I'm running 3 games, so it takes time, and I find myself not taking, because what I have found is if I don't take notes immediately after we stop playing, like that night, it doesn't
Yeah, it's
happen.
gone.
It doesn't happen.
Right.
So, another reason or another partial reason why I've assigned note taking to one of the players. So anyway, so
And
that
Rustin does a good job of
he
it.
does, he does. So that
Yeah.
is session notes. Then
Pretty concise.
I have DM notes. So these are some of these are the rumors that were given to all the players.
Mm-hmm.
The maps that you guys have seen.
Bunch of
Let me
maps.
see, module. Okay, so these are like these are my this is my flavor, as you would call it. This is the law that I described when you guys kind of left one city, moving to the other.
When
Extras.
you um when you read your 1E campaign books, does it give you a lot of background information for you specifically, like it does for 5e?
It does give some, but not to the extent that 5e does. No.
Oh yeah, I got like half of the 130 something pages, 300 and something pages that Strahd is for me, and I'm like, I like
No.
this. This is great, but
But yeah. All right, so I'll show you that here in a minute as well. So under my tab of extras, I got a couple maps. All right, and then I got
right.
NPCs, right? And as you see, I never took notes on NPCs in our lane. Okay. I got a couple notes here on NPCs in Kelvin, and I think,
Uh-huh.
and that's all I have. Now, by contrast, though, to give you a better example of that, for Sunday night NPCs, I have a whole list. I don't have a great description of personalities or anything like that. A few notes, as you see there, but I have
Yeah.
where that NPC is, what their name is, a brief physical description, and sometimes a personality description and actual pictures to help. All right.
Right.
So then
Well, my book gives me pictures, but
under treasure, okay, maybe not a good example there. So under treasure, I recorded some of the players' treasures that they found.
right.
And granted, as the DM, like that's not really my responsibility to keep track, for me to keep track of what you found and where. But
Hardy treasure. Right.
when I can, I do. And experience, since we work on experience points and not milestones, I do my computations. And as you see here on the right-hand side, session 1 to 7, this is my computation, and I noted that
Oh, and you said you already did it.
and I noted that I have
That's
told them
fine.
that this is their experience. 9 through 15,
Mm-hmm.
Chandrell, you got 426. That's been awarded to you. 16 to 17, I did the computation, but I haven't assigned it to you yet. Okay.
Mm.
And then under characters, well, there's Alba's sheet, right? And there's Sono's sheet are PC and NPCs.
NPC.
Yep.
Yeah.
And there's oh well, wrong one. Hang on. And then I have a character sheet for Parsival, who is your party member who's been kidnapped or gone missing or left or something. So I have him. And then under
Same
there,
here.
I have the NPCs, right? Sonos and Alba.
Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of my organization there. Now I take it a step further utilizing OneNote because I also have some house rules, which is published on the OneDrive that all my players have access to, but I have it all here as
Right.
well. I probably need to update this, but I have it all here as well. So I have it all, like in one spot and not having to open a OneDrive while I have my notes and stuff here. It's all here. I even have perspective house rules, other thoughts that I've had. Um, Names is just a list of names for characters because, all players want to know the name of this guy. They always do, right? So I got a whole list of names: male elves, female elves, dwarf elves, and so on and so forth. You see here on the right-hand side, and I got some names to go with it
Right.
because
Just in case.
they always ask that, right? I have names for taverns and inns, names of trades, the armorer, the goldsmith, the blacksmith. So I got some names there as well. Names for magic shops, apothecary, spellcasting services, equip because they ask for this stuff. They always ask.
Some of them are funny.
And if I haven't like fully prepped that out or fleshed out that town, I say, oh well, there's a provisioner down the road because you guys need some stuff. You asked me about that. I can come over here real quick and come up with a name and say, oh yeah, the barkeeper told you to go to, the XYZ store or to go
There's
to
an
the rare
apothecary.
quill. Apothecary?
And
You
it
want?
said there was an apothecary. No, yeah, no time like the present. That's
Um,
great.
I also have one, for guilds.
Casco.
Um,
Fantasy
so,
Costco.
and then I also have here some homebrew magic, magic items, potions, poisons, equipment, spells, like spells that I'm working on that I haven't
Oh,
really.
like converting.
Well, no, these are like just I believe them to be original spells. These are original ideas that I have, or a modification of an existing spell to make it into something
Right.
else, right? Some magical weapons I have in here. So these are just like my own personal thoughts, right? It may never be that the game may never actually see it, but that's I have all this stuff in here as well.
Excuse me.
And here, this is where I just have general notes for myself as the actual DM, right? So the 7 NPC types, which you and
Hmm.
I have just scratched the surface on that conversation, but what I shared with you was not original to me. Those are not my original thoughts. That is
I
largely
assumed it was like Lazy DM Master
no.
or
It was actually
that
this. It
guy.
was it was this guy here. Guy is his name. I can't think of the name of his channel right now, but um, how to be a great GM or something to that effect. So I kind of his YouTube video he has here is what I kind of based off, or I kind of condensed that down, mixed in my own thoughts and feelings on that, and that's how I kind of came up with that list that I shared with you on NPCs. Um,
Right.
some thoughts here on combat, kind of working on that no initiative combat. Of course, I've expanded on that further than what you see here because we have a much
Right.
longer list than that. What's in a healer's kit, right? If someone wants to use dual weapons, um, how to transition to the next module. Some thoughts in there I have. Tips for creating encounters. I probably stole that from someone else too, but so this is how and what I use OneNote for.
Right. Collection of ideas organized precisely.
So let me shut that down here. Okay. And now
Ugh.
I've heard people talk about Obsidian. I think it's obsidian.com, which is supposed to be phenomenal for note taking and record keeping for RPGs. But I feel like I'm
There's
in
a
too
couple
deep
of
with
them.
OneNote that I don't want to have to transfer everything over. So I'm sticking with OneNote. It works for me. Other people just use Microsoft Word or Google Sheets or whatever it's
Yeah,
called.
one Word document.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, which is that's not organization because you just have one
Uh,
notebook,
Giant.
not one long scroll of paper, right? Which is what Microsoft Word would be essentially, and you have all your stuff in there. And I know you can do like text box and you can make it kind of visually stand out and you can move stuff around. I get it, but it's not going to have the same kind of organization as OneDrive or Obsidian where you have tabs and sections and
You
so on and
can
so forth.
search the document. You could do like Control S, where or not Control S, whatever it is, where you can type in a
Right,
word and it'll find it
and
in the
you can do
document.
that in
But
OneNote too. You can do the same. You can do that in OneNote.
imagine imagine having your giant thing and you type in something like very like generic and you can't find what it was. That would be like me looking into the entirety of Curse of Strahd and just typing in the word Strahd. You know how many like
Oh yeah.
hits I would get?
Oh, okay. So
You know what I mean? Like,
let me pull up a 1E module because you asked like how much background did they give? Like a page.
do you mind if I go to the restroom really quick?
Of course not. See what's
Really
fun?
quick.
I'll tell you yeah. Well, you go ahead. What's funny with I'll keep talking though, but you go ahead. What's funny with this OBS Studio that we use for recording is there's no pause. You either record and stop and have to start again. Oh wait a minute, there is a pause. Sweet. Okay, pausing people. All right, we're back. All right, so I found the pause button. We'll see how well it really works. Now, what I think I figured out, you ready? I can, on the video recording, I can go to scene and phase over to the Acrobat Reader. Okay, so let me share that with you as well, Julie. Acrobat Reader, so you can see. All right, so in 1E, you can see that, correct? You can't see the Acrobat Reader? It says I'm sharing it with you. All right, so there's the Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh, or where in 5e it's called Ghost of Saltmarsh. But so you asked how much flavor do they provide, right? This is it. Essentially. Well, hang on. So here's the preface, here's the introduction, and it continues for, that's it. Then they have the Town of Saltmarsh, which they don't provide for you, right? The legend. So maybe 3 pages? 4. So you have 4 pages, and 1 page is essentially you have 1 page of graphics. So you have 3 pages for the whole thing, and the rest is up to me or up to the DM. So, and we and I've talked about this a little bit, or I've commented on this that the 5e provides so much for the DM to the point where it takes away the DM's agency, and they can't do anything. Because let me stop the streaming. Hmm. Interesting. All right. All right. So if anyone's going to be watching this video afterwards, I'm screwing around with shit. So while we're recording to try to record other stuff. Let me see. Hang on, Julie. File viewer. Well, no, not difficult. I'm doing more stuff so I can show you in record. So hang on. Explorer. Okay. So we're gonna make that big like that. Lock that. All right. So let me share with you this. We're still talking about organization, right? Okay. So on organization, on my flash drive, I do it on a flash drive because I can take it with me, right? So I have my D&D folder. Whoops, hang on. I have my D&D folder, and in that, you see how I have it broken down, right? So I have my audio files, which YouTube will get you for copyright. They absolutely will, because I was playing some I was playing some background music on Sunday night while we were recording, and YouTube hit me for it. It's like, oh yeah, this is so and so copyright. It's like, ah, crap. So, but YouTube is great. They say, hey man, you want us to take the audio out, the soundtrack out, and just leave? Yeah. So I said, click. Yep, and they did it, and we didn't lose any of our actual audio that I'm aware of. Okay. So the audio, and even that, of course, I broke down. I got a couple different sections there. My books, I broke down by each different edition. And then I have some miscellaneous ones here as well. Curse Strahd handouts, that's all for you. I got all kinds of crap here. Yep. Oh, speaking of that, you need any more props?
Um, if they're going to Velocity next, I will need an add ton of props,
Okay.
which I will get to you.
I have every issue of Dragon magazine. Every issue, all 300 and something of them, or 400 something issues of Dragon magazine. Um,
And that's just like D&D.
yeah. So I'll just show you a cover real quick. Yeah, but this is like 1E stuff. It'll pop. So there you go. Yeah, so there's different, a couple different articles, like how to play a cleric, how to run this monster, spell casting for
Did he
money.
send you the PDF he sent me?
I think which one?
The 5th edition DM's Guide to Survival or something like that?
No, that doesn't ring a bell from him. I know you. I know it rings a bell because you told me he sent it to you, but I don't think I've seen that yet. So, um, this one,
It looks it has a lot of like really cool like monster tactics in it.
yeah, I
5e Game Master Survival Guide.
so in my folder Dungeon Master, it's all kinds of stuff like for me. So in here, I have a few PC NPCs. I have the combat, our no initiative combat that we've been working on, right? Um, a martial artist, a class that I was kind of working on, which I have abandoned, but I was working on that. Critical,
Jason?
yeah, kind of, yeah. A critical hit table. So here's an article here coming up from Dragon Magazine. What's the difference between a dagger and a knife? The assortment of different types of daggers, as an example of what is in Dragon Magazine. So, um, here you go. Different types of DMs. Another article from Dragon Magazine. Uh,
Stage classes.
Domestic dogs. Another article from Dragon Magazine. So
What
this,
section's in this?
this is in my DM folder on my OneDrive, right? I also have magic items in there, my house rules, and so on.
If I wanted to know that information nowadays, I would just go onto Pinterest and find a table, or I would just Google it. But back in the 80s,
Correct.
and even the early 90s, there was no internet, and you
Correct.
couldn't just Google it.
Correct. Yes. And every month that Dragon magazine came to the house in print, and I loved it, and I read it from cover to cover. So, yeah, but like, yeah, you can find a table, but to find an article, an in-depth article, it's still, even with the power of the internet, it's questionable. Okay.
I really like when I was little, there was like children's magazine that would get mailed to us, and I would read that thing every
Y-
day.
Uh, yeah, highlights.
Highlights,
Yeah.
yes, I love highlights. Or
So,
the doctor's office. I open the highlights and I have yes.
so I have a whole nother folder here of just imagery, right? If I want to, show an NPC, yeah, whatever it is, internet downloads, whatever. A folder with some maps, 15 devious traps in Dungeons and Dragons. You want to talk about traps, right? Yeah.
Riddles.
Um, then I have all my modules based upon, well, these are all first edition modules. So I got a whole bunch of first edition modules. Old,
I have a lot of mine organized very similarly, where I have a grand folder, and then inside the grand folder is other folders full of crap. My D&D folder's like that.
so, all right, so that's what I'm doing for organization. So,
Like printouts, right? Like you like one-page printouts, like what you do for monsters. You just print out the stat blocks, and you bring a binder full of printouts.
so I have, hang on, I have one here to show you. Okay.
I feel like I've seen them at school.
So,
Not like cover to cover. I haven't looked at your DM scroll, but you have like a DM notebook.
all right, I know. Yeah, I'm working on that now. How, how do I do that? There we go. Change video background. Wah, wah, wah. Okay. All right. So for each game I run, I have a separate binder. Okay. So this is Sunday night. TTB RPG 2 is Tuesday night. And then I just had the Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh for the third one. So in the binder, they're a little different than each other, but because two of them I play on Discord and one I play in person, so what I have, the contents are a little different than each other. Um, I'll do it this way for you. How's that? Okay, still out of focus, but that's okay. All right, so the first couple pages are tables, right? They're weapon tables, damage tables, um, area of coverage for illumination, torch, lantern, things like that. How much? Yeah, yep, general information. Correct. Yeah, because when I'm on Discord, I don't have a physical DM screen in front of me. I just have the binder in front of me. So I get a few pages of just general information. Here's my combat tables, saving throw tables, right? Once I get past that, I have some house rules. House rules looks a little familiar. House rules, house rules. And then I have the actual module itself, which I printed out paper copy. Yep. Uh, no, they're more than that. They are 28 pages. 28 pages. I printed out a separate copy of the map so I can have the map in front of me while having the module open. This was the menu at the tavern. Some random encounters that I generated. Some more random encounters. And we talked about this before, I think, as well. So then I make a map in my prep of where they're going to go. Because I'll ask the players, hey, where are you guys going to go? Or if they're already there, right? I'll make a map using Dungeon Scroll website, dungeonscroll.com. And then what I do, I put it into Microsoft Word, and then I use all kinds of text blocks or text boxes for what's in those different rooms. So then I have one sheet of paper that I need for that night. And as for the contents of the room, I might put a couple notes, and I'll just kind of wing it in a sense. I have a general idea what's in the room, right? If it's the boss's room, guess what? There's going to be a bed, there's going to be a table, kind of thing, right? If it's a common room, there's going to be tables and chairs. There might be cooking utensils, things like that. So just a little bit of flavor in the notes, and then the rest I just kind of throw in on my own. So I don't have to have a full detail. And then as the characters are playing, or as we are playing, it's a smoother description of what's in there. It may not be as detailed as if I just open the module and read a paragraph, but then they know that I'm just reading a paragraph and it becomes a little chunky, a little clunky, right? In the smoothness of the overall gameplay. So when I can, I try to avoid that. Okay. So I have that. Then from there, I have some of the character sheets that perhaps I might have to play. I'm showing you, you're not watching me. Did you pass out? There you go. So I got character sheets, characters that I might need to play, like PCs, right? And then I have my notes here, right? So this is room 13. So there's probably a map or something that the players might find in room 13. So I have a paper copy so I can see it. And then, of course, I would send it to them on PDF or JPEG or something. And that's what's in my binder. Now, just the same, let's flip the script a little bit for player organization. So on player organization, hold that thought a second. Hold that thought. Okay. So on player organization, I encourage my players to spend a whopping $5 between Walmart and the Dollar Tree to get yourself a little half-inch or 1-inch binder, right? And this is my wife's character that I did a little printout for because I'm nerdy like that. But in the binder, She has her set of dice because that's how she works. She has her character sheet and a sheet protector, so you can dry erase during gameplay for your hit points and such. And she has I made a cheat sheet for her, which is specific to her class. All the cool things that a paladin can do. Right, right. So she has that right in front of her. And then she has a copy of, oops, hang on. Like her, since we're in 1E, we're not using a D20 system, you have a table as to your 2-hit rolls. So she has that table here. So a couple tables specific to her class. She has a copy of the house rules, and then her own notes that she takes during the game. So for $5, you can get you get yourself a binder and a few sheet protectors, and you're organized as a player.
There's a lot of really cute, player printouts that you can get like for free online, and it'll have like a couple boxes for things, so that if you're not the most organized note taker, you can put it each one in each little box, and it's like characters or like treasure or like location, and that way you can just like do a bullet list of things or a brief summary of things, and that way you can like organize it a little. But sometimes I don't even do that. My recall is just too good. That I just remember. But at some point in time, it is gonna bite me in the ass, and my recall is gonna go away.
And I will say that, and I've said that about you from day one. Your recall, the first game session I sat in with you, I was the player, you were the DM. We were doing Lost Mines of Phandelver,
Phandelver.
and I sat in, and I said, "Holy shit!" Like I'm there throughout the session. I'm taking notes on Julie, the DM, this woman I don't know, on her DM style. I was taking all kinds of notes because it was 5e, right? So it's new to me. So I want to see how people play. I haven't played in person in years. So I'm taking notes. But first thing I did note is that you walked in and you just started dissertating the entire background, the history, the campaign progress from session 0 up to the last session from memory, and names and locations and everything. So yeah, kudos to you for that. You just like fantastic. So I don't have that memory. So therefore I.
At work all the time, and I remember people, and it's for the dumbest reasons, like, oh, I put the label on your bottle wrong. Now I remember you for life. Like I don't know them as soon as they walk up, and sometimes I pretend to not know their name, and I'm like, it starts with a D, doesn't it? And I'm like, I know it's their whole name, and they don't know the name
Shit.
they're picking up, and they're like, oh, you have memory, and I'm like, if only you knew. I know the entire thing. Sometimes I freak people out that way. I'm like, hello, John Smith, and they're like, how do you know my name is John Smith?
All right, we may have lost your audio halfway through here as I was as I was screwing around with things. All right, hang on. I don't know, like I don't know why, because I didn't do anything different. Hang on. No, it's not you at all. It's because I try to do Discord. That's right. All right, so I'm gonna ask you in a second here. I want to see if I can get this to work first though. Discord. There we go. Don't show cursor. Lock it. Yeah, see, it's not recording your audio now. Son of a bitch. See, I tried to get fancy, and that's what happens. So hang on. Hang on. All right, I'm gonna pause the video and see if I can fix this technical difficulty. And we're back. Okay,
Woo!
so I figured it out. So there was a
I'm
period.
not gone anymore.
No, there was a period of time, Julie, we didn't record your audio, so I'm not sure how long that really was. Is when I started effing around with stuff and phasing in and out to show anyway. I'm sorry, I suck at this.
It's okay.
Okay, so
This is
my
why we
question to you
keep
now,
doing it.
what's your organization? What do you do? How do you stay
I
organized?
like paper things. I like I do like I was telling you, like how you were saying about the player binder. I do think I need to get the page protectors because I'm silly. Um, but I do like finding printouts when I get really like into something and I want to like dig deeper into it. I like making like printouts to help keep myself organized. I like tabs. But I didn't do it to Strahd, and then I realized how awful that was. And then I bought chapters, so all of my chapters are now tabbed, including the appendices. And also, I use the like little skinny, thin like sticky notes
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
to do important things like maps is usually what it is, but like my random encounter table is now tabbed. Um, or if I need like the mechanics of how something works, like the mechanics of how those dream pies work. I have that on a separate tab, and I did the same thing to my mod. My mod is now tabbed, so that I can just be like, okay, what does this tab say? Okay, cool, I know where that is, and I just whoop. Last night, not last night, Friday night, we played in the dark, so it kind of ate me in the ass because my little tabs are very little. They're only like a half an inch, not even half an inch. Um, but a couple of my players have complained about how bright and like strenuous the lights are to their eyes. So I'm like, okay, well, let's play with ambience. Let's play with the ambient music on. Let's play with the ambient lighting on. I got the batteries for those stupid candles, whatever. I might have to buy. I might have to buy one of those clip-on book
Yeah, 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 yeah.
lights.
For you, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Um, but I do now like that my things are tabbed, so I know exactly where they are. Um, for other organization, all of my mods are in folders. I would write on the folder what it is, but because I live in one folder for months, probably, I will know what folder I'm in, and I won't confuse it. Like right now, I'm in a folder that says English, and it had Death House, Barovia, the village. It has the old bone grinder, and it has Seer Pool. Um, and that's the first four chapters. Not really chapters, but it's the first maybe four levels character progression, and then it'll go on to the next section. And if the next section is going to be, you know, what XYZ, 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 I have a folder that has four mods or four chapters in it. And they're all kind of smushed together in a way that I don't mix them up, so that I could just pull the packet of paper out and put it into my. I have a clipboard, a big metal clipboard, and sometimes I just put the one that I need in the clipboard so that I don't lose it, just in case to foolproof myself. Um, I have a giant bag of dice, and I just open my bag of dice and I just pull out dice as I need them. I don't really organize my dice. I probably should. I should probably get one of those things that Chase has, and it has like the middle, and it has a bunch of like extra
Oh
pockets
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
that you can,
Yeah, I think Artie has
yeah,
one like that too. Okay,
pocketize your dice.
but as the DM, do you need to organize your dice?
No, you just dump them out because I need so many of them.
So okay, so
Rolling six
what do you
d20s and no
think
initiative combat.
what do you think you could what would you do differently, or what do you want to change or add to your organization? Anything you can think of?
I wish,
I'm
and
asking
this
because so
is
that way I can hold you a
me.
little bit of accountable. I'll check back with you in a couple of weeks and say, did you do this?
I definitely want to keep using sticky notes. I feel like I will probably lose the drive to stay organized. I'm really, really organized in the beginning. I am like an organizational machine, and then I get lazy in the middle, and then I hate it, and then I suffer, and then I get really organized again.
So the sticky notes, are you
But
talking about just for like the tabs or full sticky notes?
no, I want to try and use full sticky notes as notes to myself or as notes for the page. Yeah, a full, and I have a bunch of them. I bought some. I just haven't used them yet. So like my note about, oh fuck, I forgot Arena was supposed to go to Valaki and not to Krezik. that could be a sticky note instead of me writing a full sentence on a piece of paper that I might not have time to read, or a paragraph on a piece of paper that I might not be able to read. I think I also want to start highlighting my mods a little bit more. I have been underlining or bracketing paragraphs that I find important so that I can really quickly, like, oh, I need that, but that's what highlighters are made for. So
And but
I
if,
should
if you
probably
have it
get
as a PDF,
highlighting.
right, but you have it as a PDF, so you can actually highlight in the PDF and print it out highlighted too.
Oh, my printer's black and white.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Okay.
I guess it kind of shows up depending on what highlighted color you
Yeah, but no,
use.
it wouldn't show up that
Um,
good. No, in that case, you're better off with an
no.
actual physical highlighter. And you can do,
Yeah,
of
yeah,
course,
yeah,
you
yeah.
can do different colors to signify different things, right? Or different sections.
My ultimate goal, my big girl ultimate goal, is to save up and buy myself an iPad and digitize a lot of my crap and have a nice, beautiful iPad behind my DM screen so it's not as chaotic. But iPads are
Well,
expensive.
there are pros and cons to that, right? Because if you use an iPad or a tablet, let's say tablet, it doesn't matter what kind, right? A tablet
No, yeah, it could
even a
be any
laptop,
brand,
you have
whatever.
one screen, which means you can only have one thing on the screen at a time. Yes, I know you can split screen, but then shit starts getting smaller as you split the screen. But for the all intents and purposes, you can have one thing on the screen at a time. Whereas pen and paper,
For a tablet, you can change an app, and so you could change the window, but
but with pen and paper,
whatever.
I can have everything laid out in front of me all at once. So pros and cons to pen and paper, pros and
Oh yeah.
cons to digital, because digital I can have tons of stuff, in essence an infinite
Get
amount of
lost.
information, right? And again, that's a whole other
Oh shit,
organization
where was
thing.
it?
An infinite amount of organization, and it takes zero space. So for physical transportation, since you don't DM at home, you DM at a game shop, and you're taking this to you every time, you could essentially just bring your Curse of Strahd book and your tablet,
Right.
and that's it, right? Make it super easy. But again, it's still not the same as having pen and paper there in front of you. And then, of course, you can write on your pen and paper, and if you make a mistake, you throw it away. It's not a big deal. Like I did last night, I had my pad of paper, and I jotted something down. I tore it off and passed it to another player,
And through it.
right?
Yeah.
I can't do that with a tablet. Can't do that. So there are a time and place for both. Time and place for both. So, all right. So, Julie, I think we're about ready to wrap up here. Unless you want to share a little more on your organization, what you do, or what you don't do, or what you don't want to, I don't know. You want to share anything else about your organization?
Um, I just wish I was more consistent, I guess, is the only thing that I have issues with, but I've had issues being consistent my whole life. So.
I know our friend Ginny D has a few videos on organization because she loves to make her little character books, her little character binders.
Oh yeah, she recently posted a new video about that. My character journal has all these secrets inside.
So, but no,
And you're like, I could never make a
I
character
and
journal.
maybe because I'm a few years older, and yes, I know how to use a computer and tablet, and I'm tech savvy, but I grew up without the internet and essentially without a computer and pen and paper when I played D&D. So maybe that's why I'm a little strong on that, the old-fashioned way, right? Pen and paper leads more to the theater of the mind kind of thing. So I don't know. Obviously, I use technology. I play on Discord. I just showed you all the organization I have digitally with OneDrive, not OneDrive, with OneNote and my file organization that I have. So it's there. I mean, I use it. I just don't have it all down to one single tablet when I play. Um, Part of me says I would like to try that to be able to get myself down to everything on my laptop and have no DM screen at all. Like I
And
think
just have the laptop be the
that's
screen.
it. Just
Yeah.
at least for an in-person game, right? Because online gaming is different. For the in-person game I do on Friday night, to have just my laptop, have a battle map on the table. People have the minis. We all have our dice, but I don't have a DM screen at all. I don't have any books, nothing. I would
It would be an interesting thing to try.
I would kind of
to
like
see
to
how you
at
can
least
handle it.
to get to that, but that's going to involve a certain level of prep because you have to be well prepped for your
Electronic prep.
have to be well prepped for that one session because otherwise I'm going to be flipping back and forth on my screen. And of course, I can only have so many applications open at once and tab through, tap, trying to find the application I'm looking for. So again, not the same as having pen and paper or printed whatever.
No,
So I don't know. I would like to be. I like to get to a point where I could try that. So
I do too. I want to try at least a couple times with a tablet or a laptop or whatever,
because
and see how it works. I'd probably hate it, but
I am old school where like I like a DM screen, but because I have certain, especially with THACO, right? You have combat tables, so you need that information. That you have to have that information in front of you as the DM, but then it creates that physical barrier, and then I'm trying to look over to see what the battle map is, and I'm trying to be engaged with the
that's why I
players and
stand.
stuff, and so
That's why
yeah.
I'm a standing DM.
Well, yeah, but even if I stand, Julie, I have that battle map, and I'm trying to move the minis for the bad guys, and I can't really reach that far on the big battle
Oh, I
map.
make my players do it. I just point and
So,
make my players do it.
uh,
You play with the toys. I'm over here telling you how to move the toys
so
around.
the DM screen obviously creates that physical barrier. But all right, Julie.
I need almost a laser pointer. I wish I had a laser pointer so I
I was
could
gonna say
just
that they're cheap
go
enough.
over
You can get them
here.
on
Over there.
Amazon for
Over
cheap.
there.
You can get them really
Oh yeah,
cheap.
you could get like a pack of 5 of them for like $10.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
cheap. They're cheap. Oh, so what do you say you bought? You bought the batteries. You bought something else. You said it tonight. What did you buy? Post-it
On Friday.
notes? Post-it notes?
Oh, yeah, sticky notes.
Okay.
I bought page chapter sticky notes,
Yep,
and
yep.
I bought the
The
little
little
skinny
ones. Yep.
translucent ones, and then I bought like standard size sticky
Did
notes.
you use your game fund for that?
No,
Uh,
it was like $10.
I know, but that's what the game fund is for. It's for supporting the DM
It's
and the group.
I could have asked. My players probably would have been like, "Yay, office supplies," and it would have been fine. But it was so cheap, I didn't really think about it.
Yeah, but $5 here, $10 there, it adds up. It
Yeah,
adds up,
theoretically,
you
I
know?
could take the money. I could ask them and take the money out post.
Yeah,
Because I have all the money. It's me. It's
right.
honor system for me. Um, I just have it in a box in my house. I could theoretically take the $10 out of the box. I don't think they'd mind. I
No.
probably just could ask.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I would do. I wouldn't just take out, it's because it's a collective money. So yeah, just ask them, say, hey guys,
Reimbursement.
I want to buy some sticky notes to help me in my organization for the game. You mind if I spend $10?
I bought little teeny tiny alligator clips. I bought sticky notes, a variety of sticky notes. I bought those laminated stickers,
Yep, 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 yep.
and I bought new expo markers because I know those little tiny ones that came with my game mats are going to die very quick under my firm hand. So I bought some like chisel tip big boys with erasers on them. They're really cheap too. So like in total it was like $25 for all of that stuff, but
Another
I just bought it.
thing,
I don't care.
hang on, what is this here? All right, I don't know what this is, but this will serve as an example. So this is what you have for Strahd, right? You have a spiral bound Strahd, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just a basic binder clip, right? So if you've already read through all the initial flavor, all the initial history of Strahd, and that's
It
this
gets stupid.
much, then I can just binder clip
Mm-hmm.
that. So then the first thing I open to goes past all that right away. So I don't even need a sticky tab for that. I know, or if the Friday night's session is going to involve these 3 pages over here, I can put the binder clip just short of that one page, so I open it right there, right away.
To that one section.
Yeah,
Yeah. The ones my chapter sticky tabs are like thick. They have like plastic in between the paper. So they were really good on Friday for me to just 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, what? And I just threw it open to chapter 4, which is what I had to be in for the village. And I was just right there. The only problem is that when you open a sticky tab, because it's a sticky tab, it gets stuck to the page below it. So you're not opening it to the first page of the chapter, you're opening it to the second page of the chapter,
Well, it depends where you
which
stick
isn't
it.
that big a deal.
Depends where you
But
stick it.
right. And my little brain could not stick it to the page before because it wasn't accurate. I couldn't get around it being inaccurate for me to open it accurately.
So the drawback, and like I like the idea of those little tabs that we're talking about, but the drawback is as you pull them over time, they're going to give away. So it may, in that sense, it may be
Oh, the
advantageous.
adhesive might
You're right.
fail.
So instead of pulling on the tab, just kind of slide your finger in there on the tab and kind of open it up. Yeah. So you're not pulling on the tab
Hmm.
itself.
I try to go behind it and I'll slide. I got these monstrous fingernails. So I tried to like go behind the tab and I'll slide my fingernail behind the tab and then I'll flop the book open. But I try not, I don't think I yank on the tabs. I don't really pay attention. So now I will pay attention
So,
because that is a good point as the adhesive starts to fail. But
all right. So, all right. We think we're good for tonight on organization.
that's all we talked about, right?
Yeah, that's all we kind of talked
Plus some
about.
other
Yeah.
stuff.
And
Okay,
then we'll wrap
that's
this
fine.
up here in a few seconds and we'll go again on a different topic.
Okay, yeah, I put a bunch down
Yeah,
that you
yeah,
and me
yeah.
have not only talked about and then failed to post, but also maybe other things to talk about.
Okay. All right. So if I remember correctly, this is episode 4 of Roll for Mastery that we're finishing up here on
Full
April 19th, of
2025.
2025. And that's all I got. So peace out, boys and girls, and we'll try it again next week.
Happy Easter.
Peace out. Happy Easter.